Chief Ayotamono
not Chief.
The whole scenario in Osun State.
All right,
The fact that the president has actually not gotten involved in the whole matter.
Yes, the president is a president for all. That is one thing that is very clear. The commander-in-chief of the armed forces, and then is also the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Okay.
Now, it's not in everything that you drag the president. There are institutions. There are institutions. And one of those institutions, which is which has to do with the security agencies, appear to have taken a reactive mode instead of a preventive mode. The country was alerted to the fact that this is what could happen and that there are plans, for those that were sacked in June 2022, that they want to come back as a result of the appeal court's ruling that the federal court has no jurisdiction on the matter. Sure. Clearly, the issue of the merit of the case has not actually been looked at, but the fact that they don't have jurisdiction. So, yes, it is on that point that the appeal court had ruled, saying that the federal high courts, which nullified the federal high court, which nullified the election as conducted by the Osun State Independent Electoral Commission, and a matter that was brought by the PDP then, that the federal high court had no jurisdiction to have had it and to have given consequential orders, on that matter. So that is the situation. But then there's also another judgment that is standing. The APP, that's Action People's Party, also took the Osun State Independent Electoral Commission to have violated the processes of that local government elections, took them to court, and got a judgment in court nullifying that election. That also was by federal high court.
So that was what they stood on, that
Yeah.
they had to do the reinstatement.
No, the reinstatement is this later one.
From the appeal?
From the appeal.
Okay.
Appealing that of the judgment that was gotten by the PDP.
Okay.
So it was based on that one where the appeal court now came to rule that the federal high court on the PDP matter, the one that was brought to court by the PDP, has no jurisdiction.
Okay.
They didn't go into the merit of the matter. But once they say they have no jurisdiction, if you don't have jurisdiction, then you don't even have any basis to have entertained that matter.
True.
Because jurisdiction is very critical.
Thank you so
in
much.
Issues of law.
Thank you. Let me quickly hear from you. Let me hear from you, Walembra Amenu. The fact that the APC had to call on President Tinubu to call it for a state of emergency in Osun State. Do you think that was a necessary call?
Thank you very much. It's so maddening when we start having contradictory judgments. Now, there was a scenario in Rivers State in 2015 when Amechi was still the governor. There was this local government election conducted by him before he left office. The same federal high court by Lambu Akambi sacked the local government chairman and councillors. And up till then, they are just like that, though the matter is still in court. Now, come to talk about this. It's a sad one because the contradictory judgments are the problem. Those are the problem we have. And how to explain this judgment is a big problem. Now, I think since the High Court, the Federal High Court, has no jurisdiction of that case, no matter, I think it's of no use whatsoever. So come to talk about it, the president he has his own thing to do, while we are still watching to see what will happen after. The Osun governor had to fight. Now he is fighting because he is saying the judgment given to them, the one bringing back the APC local government councillors and chairman back to reinstating them back to office is of no use whatsoever. So them coming back is just to come and create a whole lot of problem, anarchy. And they think, like what political observers are saying, they think and they felt that the essence of doing that is to create state of emergency so that the present governor will be stepped aside.
Like the chieftain of the PDP stated that the Chibok case, you remember at the time of Goodluck Jonathan, it was a really big scenario at that time in Borno State. That every part of the country were shaking over the situation. I think it got out of the country that got into the Bring Back Our Guests campaign that we were agitating for. Why did you think they did not call for a state of emergency in that situation?
Those areas are very sensitive, and I don't think the president will want to do that.
So why do you think there's any necessary to call for a state of emergency in Osun State if we have to compare these two?
No, I don't think it's necessary for state of emergency. If it's done, then it's been political, and it will not be too fine for the government, because the issue in Osun State is almost happening in most of the states in Nigeria. When you talk about the Lagos states, they have their own crisis. Rivers State has their own crisis. So I don't think the president will want to call for state of emergency.
Okay, if we have to look at it from the former governor of Osun State, Oyetola Boyenga, he ruled for since 2018 to 2022, if I'm not mistaken at the time. And then we look at it that there's a little love relationship between him and the president as it stands, and those whole thing going on. Do you think there's a situation of abuse of power as it stands? Because Adeleke came to cry out. He actually called the president into the matter on Sunday that this is what your minister is planning to do. I seek your consent. I seek your help into the situation, and as after the whole cry out Monday, the whole scenario played out. So do you think Boyenga actually tried to abuse power in that situation?
I wouldn't want to say so, but we know how local government is. Local government is very sensitive, and there is no government, state government, that will want to lose local government. Even the federal will also want to have it, because local government is the bedrock of politics. Now you see how powerful local governments are. Through local government, you can get support, large support, and know the next person that will be in charge of the state or the country at large. Now, local government is so sensitive that most persons will not want to lose it, like I earlier said. So I don't think it's abuse of power. I only think that he's politicking because he knows the strength of the local government.
Okay. Quickly, sir, let me get to ask. You talked about the fact that there was no jurisdiction over the matter, before the reinstatement situation.
Yes, that was why I started by saying that most times we are being reactive. If the state governor had come out, it was of public knowledge because he actually cried out.
Yes.
That there is an impending invasion. We expected that the necessary machinery of governments, talking about enforcement, security agencies would have been put on alerts to the point that would have avoided the situation that we currently have, associated with that particular matter. If the necessary, even in terms of coming out to say that, okay, immediately taking a lawsuit, and perhaps a court coming to say that, okay, let's maintain the status quo antebellum. That's before the crisis.
Okay.
Automatically, I believe that it would have saved the situation and the lives that we have lost. And then the crisis situation that we currently have in that state. I am not given to dragging the president in on every matter.
Yeah.
That is why he has aides, he has... in fact, we have state governments, we have even local governments, we have the entire security apparatus of this country to look at some of these matters. In fact, by the time issues should get to the president, you know that that is the final point. So the president himself is clearly a party man, but I believe that we haven't gotten to that point. And talking about state of emergency, the condition, the situation that we currently have, does it warrant a state of emergency in Osun? I will say no. It does not warrant a state of emergency. We have not even explored the issue of non-partisan stakeholders, you know, coming into the matter and trying their best to see how they can arrest the situation and possibly give advice. We haven't gotten to that point. I know that we are talking about the West, and when you talk about politics of crisis, you know, the West occupies a special place in this country, but then we have not gotten to that. We have not gotten to that point. You can't just declare a state of emergency without taking it through the National Assembly. There must be conditions before you declare the state of emergency. We are not at war with any other country, but in this case with ourselves in the state.
Thank you.